Hello guys, Arsenal have drawn 0-0 at Brighton. I was there yesterday. I'll be honest, the conditions were not conducive to me doing a video. It was pouring with rain, I was soaking wet, and I didn't fancy chancing it. But I'm home, I've had a good sleep, I've had a chance to think about the game, and I'm probably slightly more open to talking about it. It was a difficult evening for Arsenal. I think a game like this was probably in the post. Arsenal have kind of got quite a new look team, certainly in the back half of the team. And with that, I think it's come a kind of new way of playing out from the back. And I think it was inevitable, especially after that was very successful against Spurs, that would catch coaches' eyes. And I think we saw against Brighton that it had. And they really had a very effective game plan to deal with us. Playing out through Ramsdale's been a big thing. They really squeezed high to reduce his options yesterday, forced him to go long. I think in the wind and the rain, his long kicking by his own admission wasn't as good as he might have liked. It just meant that we really struggled to get out, to keep possession, to stop them coming right back at us. I think even the fact that they had 21 shots, something like that, although not many of them were threatening, what every shot did was it forced a goal kick, and a goal kick was a reset point for their press. And, it's interesting when you look at the game again, when Ramsdale had the ball in open play, or the centre-halves had it in open play, they didn't struggle so much. But on those goal kicks, Brighton pushed on so high, 4 players in the final 25 yards, something like that. They know all about Ben White. They didn't want us to exit through Ben White. They made it very hard for him. I think his on-the-ball play was significantly worse than it was against Spurs, say. Brighton are better than Spurs right now by a long shot, and that is one of the big kind of conclusions from this game. Arsenal did not have it as easy as they did in the North London derby. And so much of that was down to the coherent, urgent press that Brighton produced. Contrasted at the other end by Arsenal never really managing to exert that Brighton. And when you look at their centre-halves, Dan Burn, Shane Duffy, who's the other one? They've got another great big lump in there. Oh, Shane Duffy, Dan Burn. Duff? What's his name? You know the bloke. Oh, God. Never mind. There's another 6'3" centre-half in there. Lewis Dunk, that's it. And they're decent footballers, but they're not Ben White, And I think Arsenal could have done more to kind of put them under pressure. But Arsenal, as momentum was in Brighton's favour, sat increasingly deep, very deep. Arteta was asking them to get out, but they weren't really sufficiently high. So that was a kind of interesting tactical point. Brighton came prepared for us, and we didn't really find a way around it. I think the conditions were a part of it. I think a lack of confidence became part of it as the game sort of turned in their favour. I also think we just weren't strong enough in the duels. It's interesting, if you go and look at the stats, see the likes of Aubameyang, Thomas Partey, how effective they were in the duels against Tottenham and how ineffective they were on this occasion. Brighton were first to everything. We will look long to Aubameyang a lot, and granted, he didn't win a lot, but I think the second balls are just as important, and that's where Arsenal probably weren't good enough. Emil Smith-Rowe was the bright light, I thought, on the day. His ball retention was excellent. His dribbling ability, his running ability, his willingness to run in behind. Yeah, I think Arteta made good changes in this game in terms of bringing Lacazette on, bringing Pepe on. They were the right players, because if Arsenal were going to score, it was going to be from going long, setting the ball, getting in behind. Maybe they should have started the game, is what you'd have to say. And easy to say that with hindsight. Of course, they wanted to stick with a team that, 10 out of 11 of a team who won the North London derby. But this was a different game and required a different kind of player. And maybe Arteta could have recognised that even sooner, that this was a day, I think, where Lacazette was always going to help us. Much like this fixture last year, in fairness, I think, where he came on and scored. What else to say? Not a great deal. I think Arsenal were lucky to get away with the draw. They were not the better team, so they were a bit fortunate in that regard. But they'll be delighted with it, I suspect, given that they didn't really perform. Another clean sheet as well for that defensive unit. In our own penalty box, we were mostly very good. Gabriel, very, very good. Teeth or no teeth. Ben White, okay, not brilliant on the ball, but very good defensively. I don't think Ramsdale had his best game for Arsenal, but he did make one fantastic intervention late on to prevent Mopé from scoring. You want your goalkeeper to produce for you in moments like that, and he did. A more difficult day for Tomiyasu, but one from which I think he'll learn a great deal. Ultimately, this is a game from which Arsenal should learn a great deal. They're not always going to have it as easy as they did against Spurs, and they need the confidence, the composure, the adaptability to cope with the kind of press that Brighton put on them, because other managers will be watching that and thinking, right, that's what we need to do. Aston Villa, whoever it is up next, they'll be watching that thinking, if we can replicate that, we're going to make life very difficult for Arsenal. I'll leave it there. I mean, on the subject of Granit Xhaka, did Arsenal miss him? I felt like yes, but I suppose they only missed a good Granit Xhaka. They missed Granit Xhaka on his good days in terms of his willingness to make himself available and help the team play out. If they'd had a good Thomas Partey or a good Martin Odegaard, I might not be saying that, but unfortunately those players didn't produce. It was a bad collective performance, I think, really, pretty much front to back, especially on the ball. Off the ball, the centre-halves did well, like I say. But overall, this sort of period, 4 games, league games, in between the international break, 3 wins, 1 draw, it's very creditable. I'm content with it. I think it's important that we keep that momentum going after the football resumes. I'm sick of these international breaks. I mean, the last one, I guess, came at a good time, but this one, in some ways, comes at a bad time. Arsenal, on a pretty decent run. But I'll leave it there for now. There'll be an Arsecast Extra tomorrow, handbrake off as well. And I'll speak to you all soon. Bye-bye.